Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, G.
Good morning, Dr. Martin. Tundru, I was hoping that you would introduce me. I don't know why I didn't control the segment.
Even if I introduced him, he was going to get that in. Forget it.
How and when?
You are so stuck.
All right, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
You look excellent.
Thank you, my darling.
Jacket.
You do too.
Thank you. Good morning to you, viewers. We begin what's trending in Nigeria. The president of the African Development Bank, Dr. Akinwuni Adesina, met with Nigeria's President Muhammadu Buhari on Tuesday at the State House in Abuja, where Buhari pledged that Nigeria will stand solidly behind Dr. Adesina in his bid to get re-elected as president of the African Development Bank. In a now viral video, the president welcomed Dr. Adesina in the most unusual way. Let's take a quick look.
Good afternoon. You are welcome.
Thank you very much.
Are you watching closely? Dr. Abati and OG, I expect tomorrow, give each other the elbow.
No, what should we call this greeting right now?
It needs a name, right?
It needs a name.
It's epic.
It is too epic. And coming from the president of Nigeria, everyone has to endorse this handshake.
I love it.
Before they used to say, you can't really do the elbow because obviously it's still contact.
Yeah.
So this is so excellent. You do the elbow from a far angle.
I love it. Dr. Abati, were you taking notes?
Yes.
I love it.
But
Anyway.
I mean, this is a major story. I'm very excited for Dr. Adesina. It's a major endorsement from the Nigerian president. I mean, the African Union had already endorsed him, and it's such an amazing experience for him that people are supporting him in the way that he's being supported.
He deserves it.
I think so. I mean, with all of his achievements, even being a Minister of Agriculture in the past, I think he did really well.
It's an impressive
Well, in 2015, his emergence as the AFDB president was also supported by President Buhari. He was not president then. He had just won the election, and the process of getting the Nigerian to become the African Development Bank president had begun. So he had the support of the incumbent President Jonathan and also of the incoming president. And of course, you recall that when in 2005, Nigeria tried to be president of the AFDB, even with our 9% majority in terms of contribution, we couldn't make it.
Yeah.
The candidate then was one Olabisi Ogunjobi. So in 2015, President Buhari can claim that he contributed to the emergence of Adesina. Now, the issue around the ethics committee at the African Development Bank and the Americans saying that there should be an independent investigation of the allegations is important to the extent that, look, we have seen African countries, African presidents, former African leaders, and the Nigerian government rallying support for Akinwuni Adesina. And what they are saying simply is that AFDB has its own rules and processes, and that no member state, either non-regional or regional, has any veto power, because what the United States is trying to do is to impose a veto power on the AFDB process. So it's excellent to see President Buhari again, supporting him. Before now, the Nigerian government had written a letter to the chairman of the Board of Governors of the African Development Bank, signed by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. Now, this is the second demonstration of that support that we have seen. And I think that Akinwuni Adesina himself acted intelligently and smartly by coming home in the middle of that controversy to report to his president, that's of his country. And, it's good that the president has said, Nigeria will stand by you. Nigeria standing by him will be very important. And that will mean mobilizing the support of not just regional members, but also non-regional members to prevent President Trump, don't let's say the United States, from imposing his will.
I knew he was going to go there.
on African Development Bank.
Very good, Dr. Abati. I love that. Well, let's take another story. Nigeria's Minister of Aviation, Adesina, has come under fire on social media for posting a video of the SpaceX, which was launched in the U.S. over the weekend, on his Twitter handle. In the tweet, the minister wrote, SpaceX just flew over Nigeria on its way to the space station. Future aviation coming closer. Well, let's take some reactions. One user wrote, SpaceX is a company, Mr. Minister. SpaceX-owned Falcon 9 rocket launched the Crew Dragon to orbit. And what you are showing are visuals from NASA. Where exactly did you see it fly over Nigeria? Another user wrote, SpaceX just flew over Nigeria. Future aviation coming closer? I mean, seriously, when other countries' rocket fly over Nigeria, then we're making progress. Unbelievable, just unbelievable. Finally, a user, NASA Innocent, wrote, tomorrow we will see tweet from Femi Adesina and co. Another achievement by the Buhari administration in the aviation sector is the sighting of SpaceX as it flew over Nigeria on its way to space station.
That's Innocent. You are so wrong. You are wrong for that.
These tweets were hilarious yesterday. I was just on my own laughing throughout the night with these tweets. I mean, I could not believe what I was reading last night.
Well, I mean, my immediate reaction to it was, you know, I was wondering where to place the childish excitement of the minister over the Dragon 2. It's called Dragon 2. SpaceX is a company established by Elon Musk in 2002. Right. But this, object going to the International Space Station is called Dragon 2. That's the name. Now, you recall, Tunu, I don't know whether you had that kind of experience when we were still young. You know, if we saw an aircraft in the sky, you know, we will go outside in excitement. I'll be waving to it. We will be saying, oh, aircraft, help me greet my mother, help me greet my father.
My kids still do it. My kids do it when we go to the island. Yes, we still do it.
Well, I mean, okay, I didn't know that children grew up in Lagos, in elitist neighborhoods, also had that.
No, the helicopters are amazing when they're by the ocean. Okay. It's amazing.
So that's the kind of thing that I recalled when I saw that post. But the question to ask is, instead of our Minister of Aviation showing that kind of excitement, we should ask rigorous questions about the Nigeria's space program. A space program was initiated by the Obasanjo administration in 1998. Yes. I think they later set up an agency, Space and Research Development Agency. They voted some money to it. Now, that Nigeria space program has not, left the point from which it started. And I think that is unfortunate, because what Elon Musk is doing with NASA is a product of public-private partnership. Now, in Nigeria, we talked about public-private partnership. So where is the research? Where are the intellectuals trying to do that for Nigeria? Instead of saying future aviation is coming closer, because
I'm baffled by that tweet, I have to say. I don't understand it. I mean, you can all geek out. I guess it's like a huge, a lot of boys grow up wanting to be astronauts. Yes. He became a pilot. So I guess it's a little geek moment of excitement, but it could have been personal, that this is really cool what Elon Musk has done. It's a nice story in itself, but then linking it to Nigeria and referring to Nigerian airspace. We don't even have a national carrier. The whole thing it's weird. Yeah.
I think so too. Well, should we take another story in Nigeria? Well, in the wake of recent protests against gender-based violence in Nigeria, the hashtag Justice for Elizabeth sheds light on an alleged attack of a young girl, Elizabeth Oyeniyi, by the Kogi State Commissioner of Water Resources, Mr. Abdulmumuni Danga. Mr. Danga was accused of assaulting Elizabeth in March over a Facebook post. In the post, Elizabeth had urged the commissioner to assist his younger sister and other members of his family financially. Well, let's take a quick look at that video and how that event unfolded. Before we come.
Commissioner of Water Resources.
What's his name?
Abdulmumin Danga is his name. I was trying to talk about him helping his little sister, DC Odokelish by name, on Facebook, Umi, her real name, that he should help his family, that charity begins at home, because he happened to be distributing some things during this COVID period. So,
distributing what?
Noodles and
some relief packages.
Some relief packages.
And so you wrote that he should help his family members
because I'm very close to the sister, and I know what she's going through, and she has told me several things about her. Immediately after the post, one local comedian called Ozianti made a screenshot of it after insulting me under the comment box and sent it to him. He got pissed off about it, the post, and sent some group of guys with a Hilux and a Sienna to come and pick me from my friend's house where I was in Okene. They took me to Lokoja, beat me up, make a naked video of me, and later on
they stripped you naked.
Yes.
And made a video
of me.
Okay.
After that, he still asked us to tell his fans out there that we are sorry, me and the kid sister. After beating the both of us, he flogged us himself. He made advances and had sex with me.
He didn't have sex with you, he raped you.
Okay, he raped me.
Did you consent to the sexual activity?
No.
Photoshopped injuries. So for as much of Photoshop as there is, you know, there's nothing Photoshop about this. Absolutely nothing. I mean, this is her. Absolutely no Photoshop. There's absolutely no Photoshop. Absolutely no.
Well, you know, on Tuesday, the police interrogated Mr. Danga at the office of the Deputy Commissioner of Police Gender Unit Force Intelligence Bureau in Abuja over the allegations. He was later released on the grounds that they will be charging him to court within 3 weeks. This has caused an outrage on social media. Let's take one reaction. In a series of tweets, human rights activist Segun Awosoya reported the case and accused the Kogi state governor of being an accomplice. His tweet read, "The pressure from the state governor to have this man walk free despite his crime against humanity is unthinkable. We are calling on the police and the Office of the Inspector General of Police to ensure justice is served. He must be charged to court for his abuse based on evidence gathered."
How about Barrick? Did you see all those bruises? It's really awful. And it's timely now, this conversation, but it's actually an ongoing conversation about violence against girls and women. It's perceived as just something you need to apologize for and you move on. It's awful.
And swept underneath the
yes,
carpet.
everybody just moves on.
I mean, I watched the entire video of this whole process. I mean, it was so graphic. I could not believe this young girl went through this whole abuse. And if it is by the Kogi Commissioner of Water Resources, this is a big, big issue. This is, in fact, almost like a national emergency at this point, because a man in that type of position to abuse a young girl over what? I really don't understand. And then at the end of the day, they also made her recount or say what she was not supposed to say on Twitter as well. They made her...
She was coerced into giving that statement.
Yes.
At the very least, what he needs to do, this commissioner who has been accused, he should step down pending an investigation. If the police then decide to charge him, then he has to face the full wrath of the law. The governor should not be intervening at all, as has been reported. It's completely outrageous.
Well, I mean, a number of issues, but I guess we need to
come back
take a short break,
yes.
And then when we return, the program will continue. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. It's still the Morning Show. Welcome back to the Morning Show here on Arise News. Still with us is Okpe with stories trending around the world.
Dr. But we're not supposed to be laughing at this point. I mean, it never gets old with you, does it? Can you just say Okpe?
Okay. Well, after the program, you'll teach me how to pronounce it.
He's never going to say it. Sorry.
Anyway, I was going to just add, some comments to what Tundu already said. She says the commissioner should step down.
Yes.
Until the matter is resolved. But what I read also is that is people accusing the governor of being the one who has been shielding him. So if the Commissioner for Water Resources, who has been accused of this, issue of rape, if he does not step down, the governor should indicate that he's not protecting him in any way by maybe doing the minimum of asking him to go on suspension until the matter is resolved. That's one. Two, why has it taken more than 2 months for the police to even invite him for interrogation? Because this incident occurred in March.
Yes.
And now it's only in June that we are hearing that, he condescended to go and write a statement. And immediately after writing the statement, he was told to go. However, the only consolation is that the police have said, I hope that is true, that they will charge him to court in 3 weeks' time.
Within 3
because
weeks,
the issues
yes.
are involved are serious. There is violence against the person of that lady. There is abduction, because she said the man sent thugs to come and arrest her. And then 3, there is a battery assault. And then on top of it, there is rape. And, you know, the impression should not be given. And I think this is where the police need to do their work. That anybody, because he's a commissioner in Kogi State, is above the law. The point has to be made that, you know, this particular commissioner or any such person is not above the law.
If he is found guilty, he should be made as a scapegoat. They should use him as a scapegoat.
But that's for the court to determine.
I mean, I'm saying if he's found guilty for the crime, he should be used as a scapegoat for the nation. I mean, because this is serious. Those charges are serious.
Extremely serious. But, you know, we've seen a senator who was caught on camera slapping somebody.
Yes,
what happened to
we
that?
saw that. Yes, we
What
saw
happened
that.
there?
He apologized and everything
that
was
was it?
fine. Yeah, he's now a man of God. But apparently, I believe back in March, there was news that the commissioner had been suspended. I don't know if that's still the case at this point. There were stories that the commissioner had been suspended. I don't know how true that is. Well, should we take another story now?
Yes, yes.
Sure, let's take another story. Users on Twitter have used the hashtag #WhyIDidntReport to share their rape experiences and why they failed to report their abusers. The trend showed that a majority of rape survivors stayed silent out of fear, while those that spoke years later were usually asked why they were just coming out or why they kept quiet for so long. Let's take some tweets. One user wrote, "I didn't want to disappoint my family further. I didn't want to bring dishonor and shame upon my family. I didn't want to be forced to talk when I can barely speak Korean. I didn't want to repeat what happened when I was 13 4 more times." Another user wrote, hashtag #WhyIDidntReport, because he apologized right after, because I made myself believe him being drunk was an excuse, because one person I did tell said I caused it, because I felt dirty and ashamed. Hashtag we are tired. Finally, a user wrote, because he's a cop, because I was called a liar without telling my side of the story, because I was blacked out drunk, so it was partially my fault. Hashtag why I didn't report. Finally, a user, Jack, wrote, in light of people sharing their stories and the hashtag why I didn't report trending, I thought it would be a good idea to bring this gem back. Spread awareness, spread love. I mean, if we can pull up that picture, it says, why does every woman know another woman that was raped, but no man knows a rapist? I mean, these tweets were, you know, really moving. And I'm so glad that this is happening now. I think that there is a revolution going on, there's a movement going on, and everyone should just keep talking about their experiences.
But it happens all the time, though. Remember the huge scandal around, his name just came to my head, the confirmation of the Supreme Court in America, Burt, what's his name?
Kavanaugh?
Kavanaugh, yes. Everybody was asking the woman why she did not report. And it's because of the kind of rage that's directed at women who do report. They're vilified, either from, even if they're believed, it's like, well, what's your problem? You're not the only one. Even this lady who was murdered recently, Uwa, apparently her father was asked in the police station when he went to report. The police person said to her father or another relative that, well, you're not the only one whose daughter was raped. It's ridiculous, the kind of response that lacks total empathy. So it makes people sort of keep quiet about it. It's awful. And this, the placard that you showed, is so powerful.
Yes, I thought I should show
because
that.
we talk about rapists as monsters. No, they're not monsters. Rapists are somebody's son, somebody's father, somebody's brother, and a lot of men's friends. They're not monsters. They're people we know. They walk among us. And sometimes they tell their friends stories of how they have raped somebody, and it's treated like some kind of a joke or some kind of a, oh, don't do that again. It's not treated as a crime, which is exactly what it is. It's a serious crime.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was a powerful question on that placard that was shown there, that every woman knows another woman who has been raped, but no man knows a rapist, right? Well, I'm a man sitting here. I don't know any rapist.
You don't. And I do know women that have been.
I think that we need to do a lot more, governments, countries, particularly, you know, in Africa, to do a lot more in terms of campaign against rape. I guess maybe in this regard, if government will not do it, we should have more civil society organizations, leading the campaign, particularly with regard to the fact that it is a crime. I think some men, or even women too, probably think that it's a matter of privilege.
Yes.
Because when you deconstruct rape, you see that there is power relations involved, either the dominant male or the dominant female taking advantage of the other person. And, people need to realize that it is a crime. And then the campaign should also be around the stigmatization of rape, because many of the tweets that you read pointed at the issue of stigma. Yes. In Nigeria, for example, many families would not allow their daughters to report rape out of the fear that a woman that has been raped is not a good wife material. That's the, the misconception. And families will say, well, if you go and report that you have been raped, who is going to marry you? Marriage being very important to Africans. And then the third point is the legal framework, which Tundu and I, discussed much earlier on the program about, the National Assembly taking a second look at the legal framework for rape in the country. So these are some of the issues, but I mean, it's very unfortunate. I've had women say that, when you are raped, the thing just sticks in your head for life.
It does.
Of course.
If one guy said his mom was raped and the mom wanted to commit suicide, that is how bad it is.
People have to go through therapy, obviously, all the time for this. But I like the fact that you brought up that aspect of stigmatization. Do you guys remember the Timi Dakolo case? The woman who was raped, and Busola Dakolo was raped. And until now, we don't even know what the story is at this point. So I don't know how we can, change this whole narrative. It's great Timi married his wife, knowing what she had gone through. I mean, that's one man who has set an example for a lot of women in Nigeria who have gone through this and are afraid or ashamed to tell their spouse what they have gone through because of stigmatization.
Well,
it's a very deep issue.
It's the truth, isn't it, that in Nigeria, a husband cannot rape the wife?
Yes. The Nigerian law does not recognize marital rape. Can you imagine that?
That is absurd.
Horrendous.
That is absurd.
But the issue underpinning all of the stigmatization and what have you is victim blaming. Women get blamed for everything, from Eve eating the apple.
Even the woman that was the
victim
that was killed. They were blaming her.
They would find a way to blame you. Why were you there?
Said, what were you reading?
Yes.
What type of book were you reading? I mean, in the church.
Exactly. Why were you breathing? You were breathing.
And why are you dressed like this?
Yes. Women are blamed for everything in society. Everything that goes wrong, blame her. And it's a problem. We don't blame the rapist. The only reason a rape occurs is because a rapist raped. It has nothing to do with the victim.
Yes, I'm glad that social media is, taking this action to put this whole information out, and I think that people should just continue to protest. I mean, I don't know how else we can do it.
Let's take the final story
a change.
So that we manage time.
Should we? Let's do that. Let's take our final story. The hashtag Blackout Tuesday was trending on Tuesday across the globe as people took to social media in solidarity with anti-racist demonstrators demanding social change and an end to police brutality. The hashtag started trending after major music industry labels pledged to halt businesses for the day. More than a week after the death of George Floyd, athletes also joined forces with TV and music radio industries to support the trending hashtag movement on social media. I mean, I thought this was amazing. This story, I mean, like I said, I'm glad social media is now revolutionizing this awareness about injustice, rape, all of that. I mean, this is so amazing. Yesterday, if you go through social media, it was completely pitch black. Yeah. Everyone was posting black frames on their social media in solidarity with this movement.
You must be aware, of course, that there are some commentators who have said, yes, while it is good to protest against injustice, while it is good to condemn police brutality in the United States, that, what is more important is to share video and information.
Yes.
And the concern of such persons is that a black screen, a black background, when you check it, it takes away from the main message.
Yes.
But of course, opinion is divided on that. But Blackout Tuesday got everyone's attention.
Definitely did.
And the message simply about Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives
and,
Matter.
you know, justice for George Floyd.
George Floyd especially. I mean, I love the movement. I think everyone is doing such a great job in trying to bring this to the limelight, really.
And I just hope that that man's death was not in vain.
I don't think it will be in vain.
I hope there'll be
I don't think so.
made.
I hope that there will be changes made. But I mean, I think that this is different because, I mean, we saw this murder in cold blood.
We've seen many
Yes,
before.
but this is...
He also said, I can't breathe.
Listen, there's a pandemic right now. The coronavirus, the new coronavirus happened, and no one cares. Do you see the crowd outside?
Yeah.
Nobody cares about coronavirus at this point. I mean, if there's not going to be a spike in the United States at this point, then, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with them. The streets are flooded with people.
Thank you very much, Oji.
Yes,
We'll see you again tomorrow morning.
See you tomorrow.